Welcome back, you beautiful souls. It's spring, it has sprung, and in theme with everything that happens during this month, we thought we'd talk about something special, and this is something that's getting Nature Boy excited. Of course, with spring being around the corner and South Africa's favorite city of oaks, Stellenbosch, is pulling out the stops for gardeners and lovers of the great outdoors in a new week-long festival that will transform its streets into surrounding countryside from 30th of September to the 10th of October. Now, it's going to be the inaugural Stellenbosch Garden Week, and Al-Marie Rabe, the marketing manager of Visit South Africa, as well as Hanley Hill. She's a culture concierge and a representative for Stellenbosch's Outdoor Sculpture Trust. They're both here to tell us more about this incredible event. Ladies, how are we doing this morning?
We're fine. Good morning, good morning. It's spring, it's first of spring.
We're definitely a little bit earlier than the flowers would be blooming at this time of the day. They're all still sleeping, so thank you for joining us so bright and early. But I'm really excited about this. It sounds like something that I just want to get involved in. But where did the idea come about for this festival? What was the inspiration behind it?
It actually is quite a few things that came together.
So I like that, by the way. That means we're going to hear something really.
So we started talking to Garden Day earlier this year about getting involved. So that was an organization that started about, I think, 5 years ago to celebrate gardens and gardening and enjoy your garden. So not necessarily working on a garden, but just celebrating what it is. Tools down. Tea, gin, whatever, just enjoy your garden. So that was the one part of it. Then somebody came and said, but the Girona Flower Festival, so that's a town in Spain, blooms like crazy and people flock there from all over the world. So then we started percolating a bit around that. And then the tourism industry was hit hard. So we thought, well, this could be a good idea to get the tourism industry sort of kick-started again. So it bloomed into this massive thing that is now Garden Week Stellenbosch.
I absolutely love that. Blooming into something exciting, of course. And the fact that, I mean, for a lot of people, working in the garden is a hobby and it's sometimes an isolated experience. You're doing it on your own. But this is tending to potentially bring people together, especially when it comes to the scene. Honey, how exactly would you imagine this to kind of bring the community and everybody else together in this event?
So we have a wonderful program that caters for a variety of activities for children, for nature lovers, for cyclists, hikers, food and wine lovers, of course, goes without saying, for Stellenbosch being such a wonderful culinary and wine destination. So we have a great selection on our program.
And speaking of that selection, I mean, you had me at the food and everything else already, but not just that, but I believe you have a Michelin star chef that's also joining the ranks, Jan-Hendrik van der Westhuizen, who's going to be joining and being a part of the highlight for this week. What is his exact involvement? I'd imagine it's definitely food, but in what nature?
Yes, so we were very lucky. He's flying in for Garden Week, and he's got a little garden in France, and he also loves gardening. So he'll be talking about that a lot, and for us that was a really great anchor. We are doing a lot with food. So Jan Hendrik, to get back to the program, will be doing two things.
Oh, sorry about that. Speaking about getting early, my alarm just went off. I do apologize. A little bit earlier than me.
I'm happy that you're awake already. So he's flying in, and he will be participating in a conversation about his love for gardening and what he does for gardening, and especially kitchen gardens, because everybody is now, it's a big rage, it's a big trend now for restaurants to have their own kitchen garden, and to use local produce. So that is one of the highlights that he'll be bringing in. And then he's got a botanical banquet that will just celebrate all things flowers, beauty, botanical. It's very inspirational.
I'm trying to figure out what exactly is going to make this festival stand out, because there's so much that you've mentioned already. But I mean, in your opinion, what is really going to make this what I expect it to be an incredible event? I mean, you're mentioning the food, you mentioned the culture, the people. Is there anything else you could add to this?
Of course. There's always a rabbit that's being pulled out of the hat. So apart from the sculpture, the outdoor sculpture exhibition, which Hanley will talk about, we've got some of the exciting things that I really love and that is quite special, is that we've got 15 private gardens that's now being open to the public for special viewing. That's never been open.
All right.
So this is a first for us. Another thing that I think will just absolutely bring the town and everybody alive is that we've got 5 or 6 of the historical points around Stellenbosch have been identified, and landscape artists and floral artists will be activating there. So even as you walk around the streets of Stellenbosch, you'll see there's a landscape activation on a pavement, or there's a beautiful floral and plant display. And these things are quite big in scale, in front of a church, or we're building a labyrinth on the Brock. So, and that is quite interesting. We're using the labyrinth guru. Well, I consider the labyrinth guru, Teddy de Vries, and she's doing packing out a labyrinth. And the magical thing about this is we put it on grass and we take it away after the 10 days. But those marks that people normally moan about, that's left on the grass, those white spots, it just means that labyrinth can actually live on until the grass is grown up
like
completely.
art at the same time.
Exactly.
Speaking of art, of course, we've got something to chat about after this. Ladies, it's been a pleasure. It feels like you need to book the entire week just to do all the activities that are on offer, but we will unpack a little bit more of it in just a bit, and don't go anywhere.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Gents, now what better way to celebrate the start of spring than through the one-of-a-kind festival that is Garden Week Stellenbosch. Now joining us is back once again in the studio. If you missed the first session, then shame on you, but don't worry, we're plugging you with more of this info because Almiri Rabe is here, the marketing manager of Visit Stellenbosch, as well as Hanli Hill, which is our cultural concierge and a representative for Stellenbosch Outdoor Sculpture Trust. Ladies, we were chatting about everything involving the festival. I was getting really, really excited, but there's more to add to this. And on top of it, there's also the, well, what you would call it is the art exhibition, which is happening. Something really exciting, but something unique at the same time. Can you explain to me what's actually going on there?
Yes. So what coincides with Visit Stellenbosch Garden Week from 1 to 10 October is the Stellenbosch Outdoor Sculpture Trust is hosting a land art exhibition. So we have invited 8 land artists from across South Africa who will be doing artworks in and around town on different sites.
Okay, so you could just walk around and visit a few gardens or a site. It's like a multi-site sort of exhibition, right?
Correct.
Okay, well, that sounds exciting. And would everybody that's doing these gardens have different sort of elements that they bring through? Because, I mean, for me as someone that's inspired by, let's say, Stellenbosch, seeing it in the mountain, is that something I could learn about at the same time through these exhibitions as well?
Yes, so there are indigenous gardens. There's a whole variety of gardens to see, traditional gardens, indigenous gardens, public gardens, private gardens. And then the land art installations, the artist has come forth with land art is working in natural materials, sculpting the earth, working with materials from the site itself. So there will be works in stone, there will be installations in metal, all kinds of natural materials.
Oh, wow. So I mean, imagine someone that's inspired with the creativity that we have as individuals, as well as all the material that we have in South Africa when it comes to the options of what garden you'd like to grow. I mean, we were just chatting offline about the options we have when it comes to a garden. I'd like a French garden, indigenous, water-wise. Is it something that I could just rock up in Stellenbosch and just get educated, or would you maybe suggest me making some sort of planning? Because it sounds like there is so much happening within the town in itself.
I would definitely suggest looking at the extensive program. There's something for everyone. There's some interesting talks on medicinal plants in the botanical garden. The Dylan Lewis Sculpture Garden is a great example of indigenous planting. And then, of course, the land art, learning about the medium of land art by enjoying the exhibition. So definitely book some talks and workshops as well on the visitstellenbosch.org website. Yeah.
All right. Well, Andy, look, where can people get more information from? Because I think everybody by now is hyped and they're excited and they want to get involved. What do you suggest they do?
So definitely, as Handy had just said, go to the visitstellenbosch.org website. There's a section on Garden Week. And I had a quick look at it last night. There's over 50 venues and more than 200 things that you can actually book.
Oh, wow.
Whether that's a visit to a garden, whether it's a talk, a hike, a cycle, ride. There's flower crown workshops. There's beehive workshops.
Oh, wow.
And it's incredible how everybody just came together and inspired by nature. And I think this is something that we really need in our current times. I mean, everybody's come through COVID. We're still obviously
dealing with it.
Dealing with it, absolutely. And everybody's looking for something positive and beautiful and inspirational. And this is what we're trying to bring with Garden Week Stellenbosch.
Oh, you definitely are. And you're playing on such a powerful force, nature and the beauty within it. Ladies, I can't thank you enough for joining us this morning. I will definitely see you there. I'm so excited for this. And you need to do the same thing too. An amazing springtime experience awaits at the exciting new Festival of Gardens in Stellenbosch Garden, now happening soon. Don't forget it, and lots of wonderful memories to be made for sure. So showcasing the best of South Africa's nature, wine and food. Go get your tickets. Make sure you get there soon.